Why Media Foreign Policy Report. Prime Minister Mark Carney held separate meetings today with United Kingdom Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer and Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on the sidelines of the Global Progress Action Summit. With Prime Minister Starmer, Carney highlighted the deepening partnership between Canada and the UK, building on recent meetings in Ottawa and at the G7 summit in Kananaskis. The leaders discussed boosting trade through ratification of the UK's accession to the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, CPTPP, and expressed openness to future expansion of the pact. They also exchanged views on global security challenges, including the Middle East, where both countries have recently recognized the state of Palestine. They reaffirmed support for a two-state solution, with Carney stressing the need for Palestinian Authority reforms, while calling for Hamas to disarm and release hostages. On Ukraine, the leaders restated their strong support and underlined the importance of robust security guarantees against Russian aggression, including incursions into NATO airspace. In a lighthearted moment, Carney presented Starmer with a Team Canada rugby jersey ahead of the Women's Rugby World Cup final between Canada and England. In his meeting with Prime Minister Albanese, Carney emphasized opportunities to expand economic and trade cooperation through the CPTPP and welcomed collaboration on critical minerals under the G7 Critical Minerals Action Plan. The two leaders also discussed strengthening defense ties, particularly through their Joint Over-the-Horizon Radar Technology Partnership in the Arctic. Additionally, they shared ideas on advancing affordable housing solutions in both countries. Both meetings underscored Canada's commitment to closer ties with allies in Europe and the Indo-Pacific. Prime Ministers Carney, Starmer, and Albanese agreed to remain in close contact as they pursue shared economic, security, and global priorities. Why Media Foreign Policy? Report: Canada was not part of a mass walkout this morning during Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's address to the United Nations General Assembly. The Office of Canadian Ambassador Bob Ray says he remained seated during Netanyahu's address as dozens of diplomats from other countries walked out of the chamber. The official presiding over the speeches had to call for order multiple times as delegations, including many from developing countries, rose to leave the room. In his speech, Netanyahu said the disgraceful decision by countries like Canada to recognize a Palestinian state will encourage terrorism against Jewish people. Netanyahu spoke at length about the hostages taken by Hamas nearly 2 years ago and threats emanating from Iran, and he appeared to be heckled by at least one person in the room. Israel is facing a torrent of global criticism over its bombardment of the Gaza Strip, the starvation of Palestinian civilians, and cross-border strikes such as the attack on Hamas negotiators in Qatar earlier this month.
Why Media Group? The fastest growing media group in North America.